So this disc right here is the fairway driver that the Discraft lineup has been missing. And this right here is the Discraft Paul McBeth Athena. And today we're going to be taking a look at the flight of this thing. Let's jump into it. All right, let's get into the feel of the Athena. So the actual feel of the Athena in the hand feels really good. Fairway drivers are some of my favorite discs to throw out on the course just because of the small rim that fairway drivers typically have to offer. Now this is a 7502 on the flight numbers, but I would say that the Athena, weirdly enough, it kind of feels almost a little bit faster, but it's not towards that 8 or 9 slot of the like Onyx or even a Discraft Reaper, which Paul has been throwing all over the course recently. So as for plastic for the Athena, the ones that are going to be available to you all are going to be the prototype that's going to be coming out in just a couple weeks here. And I believe that the plastic on the test flight is going to be very similar, if not the same, for the prototypes that are going to be coming out. So this is just pretty much your standard ESP plastic that you're going to be able to get this thing in. I will say that it does have a little bit of a different look to it though. And as you can see, there's almost like splatter around the inner side of the disc right here. And then on the outside, it's just like a singular color, almost giving it like a halo type look to it. I'm not sure exactly what the prototypes are gonna look like, but I would have to say that it'll probably be pretty similar to the test flights. So if you enjoy throwing your fairway drivers in that ESP plastic, which offers a ton of durability, it's going to last the longest, the ESP you really can't go wrong with. And this right here, they're not super gummy and they're not super stiff, which is how I like my fairway drivers to be. And I think you guys are really going to enjoy the overall feel of this ESP Athena. So with the Athena really being a disc of its own in the Discraft lineup, there's not too much to compare it to, but I do have a couple discs that I think are similar to it in feel, and I'm going to talk to you guys a little bit about the feel of these discs compared to the Athena. So if I had to compare the Athena to anything else in the Discraft and DGA family, the closest things that I would say are going to be the Discraft Reaper, and then the other one is going to be the DGA Bonsai. And I've been throwing the Bonsai for a long time now, and I think that this is probably the closest thing to the Athena. The feel of the Bonsai compared to the Athena is a little bit different. I think the Athena has a deeper rim on the bottom as opposed to the Bonsai. It definitely has a smaller rim compared to the Athena. I've talked to multiple people out here on the course today and let them feel this thing, and all of them have said that this is definitely something that Discraft was missing and they're super excited to get their hands on. Now onto the flight of the Athena. I think you guys are really going to enjoy what you're going to be able to do with the Athena. Paul himself said that he wanted to create a disc that had versatility to it. Whether you're throwing it on hyzer, anhyzer, trying to throw it straight, this disc is going to tell you the exact line that you're throwing it on. And I think when you have a disc like this is going to help any type of player improve their game. Whether you're a beginner player and looking for that neutral type of fairway driver to start out getting into those higher speed discs, or whether you're an advanced player looking for something that you're able to flip up to flat, throw flat and just watch it ride dead straight and have that reliable fade at the end, or are you throwing it on anhyzer, watching that thing cruise over and then eventually come out. But enough of me talking about this thing. Let's jump into some holes out here at Lincoln Ridge. I figured that this would be a great course here in Northern Kentucky to put this new Athena to the test. So let's jump into a couple holes out here and I'll show you how this thing flies. All right guys, I'm just gonna play some random holes out here at Lincoln Ridge right now. Show you guys the actual flight of the Athena. I will say there is a little bit of wind out here today. So we're gonna see how the Athena holds up to some wind here today. Gonna just try and throw it out to the right side on a little bit of hyzer here on this hole. Oh, we're playing the skip play for the first throw with the Athena. Get down there. Oh yeah, oh my gosh, that is absolutely parked. So I'm typically on this hole, I like to throw a lot of hyzer out to that right side and typically play the skip play. That thing skipped right over there and is absolutely parked under the basket. All right, next up, we're gonna try the Bonsai, probably similar line. I'll try and give this thing a little bit more height. Definitely not playing the skip play there. That's gonna be well short. Oh, got a tree kick there. So you see the Bonsai? I think the Bonsai has a little bit more stability than the actual Athena does. And now last up, we're gonna throw the Big Z Reaper. This one's from Ledgestone. I picked this one up because I thought that the Reaper would be similar to what the Athena is. I'm gonna have to guess that this thing is probably a little bit more stable than both of the discs that I've thrown here already. So we're gonna try and pump this thing down there. Kind of a similar line. Don't get caught up there. All right, well, that one's OB. I didn't throw that one with enough height. That one actually had a little bit straighter flight than the Bonsai did, but we'll pick all three of those up and we're gonna do some more throws on a couple more holes out here. Yeah, well, if you're looking for a skip play, the Athena definitely does that. That one was absolutely parked under the basket, but let's go over to a different hole, throw these three again. All right, guys, up here on hole 2, this is a really good hole actually for the Athena. It's about 360 feet. Just want to push something out straight and then have it fade towards the basket just over on that left side. All right, I'm gonna try and force this thing over just a little bit. I didn't pump it over enough. It did hold it for a little while and wanted to fight out of it pretty quickly. So you can definitely tell that this thing has some end of flight stability to it. And so I was actually walking down here. Basket is right there. I really thought the Athena didn't get as far as I would have liked it to, but this thing is right there. Basket is just tucked behind those trees right there. This thing has some sneaky glide on it actually. So as you saw, I thought we shanked that a little too early, but that thing just was pretty much pin high. I would say right at about 360, but I guess it just has some, like I said, sneaky glide to it. But one thing I want to talk a little bit about while we're walking up to the next hole is comparing the Athena to the Bonsai, because I thought that was going to be the one that it would compare to the most. But the Bonsai definitely has a lot more stability in its flight than the Athena does. So I've been throwing the Bonsai for quite some time now, and I actually think the Athena is going to kick that thing out of the bag, just because I'm looking for more of a like straight pushing initial flight and then have that stability at the end that both the Bonsai and the Athena offer, but out of the Athena more so far. All right, onto a pretty similar hole out here at Lincoln Ridge. This one's about 365 feet, but this one's pretty much just dead straight ahead. I want to throw this Athena one more time. After throwing my Onyx off camera, I didn't film that one. I would say this is almost like a slower Onyx for my arm speed, especially. The Onyx to me is just like a nice, like straight to reliable, super reliable fade at the end. So we're gonna throw this thing. I want to give it the height it deserves to try and see like a true flight out of this thing, so you guys can see what this thing can do. There it is. There's a good rip on it. Nice, okay. Yeah, definitely has the very similar flight of the Onyx. It's just that 7 speed instead of the 10 that the Onyx is. That one I actually gave it some height, and you guys got to see the actual flight of it that time. Just pretty much rode dead straight a little bit and then that fade towards the end. So I'm actually gonna throw the Onyx now so you guys can see a comparison. Yep, pretty much just a very similar flight. It's just a little faster out of the hand. That one's very close to the basket. Yeah, I would say I should have probably mentioned the Onyx a lot sooner. Those are going to be the closest thing to each other, just a little bit slower with the Athena. Well, guys, that is going to wrap up the initial review of the Discraft Paul McBeth Athena. I'm definitely enjoying the flight out of this thing so far. I would definitely compare it more so to the Onyx, just because of the flight characteristics that it does have. Overall feel is definitely just gonna have that typical 7 to, I would even say 7.5 if that was even a thing, type of feel in the hand for a fairway driver. But I definitely think this is going to be a great disc for any amateur to pro level player. I think you're going to find a lot of use out of this thing, and you guys are definitely going to want to get your hands on one of the prototypes that's going to be coming out in the coming weeks. But if you are excited about the Athena, make sure that you let me know in the comment section down below. If you did enjoy the video here today, make sure that you leave a like and make sure that you hit that subscribe button, because we're going to be bringing you more videos. Thanks again, and we'll see you in the next one.